Hey guys, Luke Marshall here with the Marshall Chronicles. And I want to say welcome to our first tutorial, and hopefully it will be a series of really good, I'm hoping to say well put together and useful tidbits of information that I've come across that I would love to share with you. Without further ado, welcome to Tips and Tricks with TMC Tutorials. On this show, using the Material Design Interactive Color Palette programmed into the Google AppsScript sheets, and some info on how I did it and resources I used in the process. So Google AppsScript runs basically like plugins or macros in the background of all of the Google apps. It's a really, really great software. Let's get started. All right, so we got, what you're gonna need is a Google account and have it so you're set up already with Google Drive, because I will make this spreadsheet available, a copy of it available, so you guys can actually come in and just grab the code yourself, and you can actually put it in if you find the spreadsheet's useful. If not, that's fine too. This spreadsheet that I made is basically littered with the complete color palette for Google or Google's Material Design. The Material Design is actually everything you see on the Android. So, you know, when you got the little color banner up top, little round button, and the sliders, that's all taken from something called Material Design. The idea being that it's a responsive design that can adapt to either a phone, a tablet, or your PC. It's a really innovative thinking on their part, and people are just expanding on it day in and day out, and it's got a lot of give. And the best part is, like everything in Google, it's free. But I was designing my site, and one thing I didn't like having to do was sometimes there's too much information, right? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create like these little sort of like little baby layouts, you know, like they, there's the sides of the sites, the header, the top, and what I use to pick a color swatch is this website here. Basically, you can sort of like unlock these guys, and then you hit the space bar, and it generates different colors for you, right? So when you feel inspired, you're like, you know what, this is actually a good one right here. I'm gonna take this. What we'll do is we'll go like this, and I'm gonna hit Control C, and we're gonna come over here and we're gonna redesign this one. All right. So I'm gonna throw the yellow up top, and I hit Control Shift V. Now, just to show you, Control Shift V does this. It puts that number into the cell, and that's what the cell does. It basically takes that number and it translates it into the background color and the font color. So now you can see right away. Now I don't got to go up and I don't got to go, okay, up here, change my font, change this, put in a custom code. It's all done already and automatically. This is kind of cool. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I just love being able to do this. And how did I do it? You're going to ask. So this is the really good thing. This is done on Sheets. So if you have a Google account, it's free. You can download the app. It's part of the Google Drive. And then here's the really cool thing. If you go up to Tools, you head down to the Script Editor. Pardon me. And you now have access to Google AppsScript. Now, this is the little code I wrote just to get that done. You guys know I'm a vapor, and this Montreal Drip City Homeboys Smurs Squirt is phenomenal. Anyway, back to it. You can sort of see a little bit about what it is. Now, this can look pretty scary and daunting to someone who's not, used to this. But I'll tell you what, it's actually a lot more intuitive than you might think. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to write right from scratch. We'll go through the whole process together, and I'll put that new one up on the site, and then you guys can use it if you want, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to here, and here's my Google Drive, okay? I'm basically just start a new one, Google Sheets, and bada boom, bada bing, we have a new spreadsheet. Again, it's free. Now, what we want is just like before, we want to be able to put a number in here, and we want that to then change the background. I'm just going to get rid of the grid, and that way, it's just like the other one. So let's go right up here right away to Script Editor. And what will happen is it'll load it up for you, and you're going to see something called My Function. Now, this is really good. If you guys have never, ever done this before, well, here's the first thing you got to do. The first thing you got to do is hit the Save button. What it'll do is it'll prompt you to save the file. So we're going to go Tutorial 1 Color Swatch. All right. Perfect. Now, this function that's highlighted in pink is what we will be using. All right, we're going to use a function of programming. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to tell that function when to run, and that's done with something called a trigger. Where the trigger is found, you only have to set the trigger up pretty much once for each function, and if you have one trigger, you can run many functions off that trigger, but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We'll go to resources, and you go to current projects triggers. All right, no triggers set up. All right, here, click here to set up a new one. Let's do that. So there it is already. There's the my function. All right, we can set it up by a time-driven function, so you could actually set this up so that you had an email that would send out every hour, or you could have an email sent out every 15 minutes. I mean, as long as you're within the Google policy. You could set up a alarm clock to turn your computer on. You could set up anything like that. Or what you can do is you can have it spreadsheet driven. Okay, so we have it from the spreadsheet. From the spreadsheet, you can have it on open. So when you open your spreadsheet, it'll trigger the function. You can have it on edit, which is the one we're going to use. On change is almost the same thing. I don't remember exactly the difference. And the other one that's really nice is form submit. So if you make a Google form, you can use this function. So whenever someone submits something, you can then grab the information that's relayed, and then you could do something with it. So you could say, you know, Google, every time somebody submits this contact form, email me that phone number right away so I can call them, or, you know, something like that. There's a million options. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into on edit, and we're going to save the trigger. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask you for authorization. So because you've pretty much, what we're doing is we're creating an app. This is the beginnings of an app. A very, very simple app, but it's still an app. So you have to give Google permission to let the script use your spreadsheet. All right, so there we are. We have our beginnings. Now, computers are very much logical machines. All right, they don't do anything you don't tell them to do. It's great and it's a curse, because if you're not entirely aware of what you're doing, that's when you get into headaches, and that's where a lot of people get scared. But it's only a spreadsheet, so it's not a big deal, and it's really a lot of fun. So what we can do is, the first thing you're going to learn about is variables. All right, now variables are great because they will hold any kind of information that you want. And the best part is you can give it a name. You can give it any name you want, so it's easier for you to remember, right? So what you do is you want to declare. It's called declaring a variable. We're going to go var. Okay, so we're going to say variable. We're going to use SS for spreadsheets is equal to, we're going to go spreadsheet app, right? And then we're going to go dot, and right away you can see it comes up with something here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go get the active spreadsheet. All right, that way, so what we're doing is we're saying, hey, something has changed, because we have an on edit trigger, right? So somebody's edited something. So when that happens, we're going to say, hey, go find the spreadsheet that happened on, because you could have this program work across 10 spreadsheets, right? So now we have to tell it, okay, go look here. All right, so we're going to go to that. We're going to say, go look here, right? Oops, get active. It should be get active spreadsheets. Hang on one sec, sorry. Get active. There it is, get active spreadsheet. That's the one we want. Now, whenever you finish off a line, you have to put a semicolon on the end, and that's basically like a stop. So you tell the computer, hey, you went and found it? Okay, good. Move on to the next one. All right? And then you go var again. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to declare S, and it'll be, then we take the other variable, because now the variable's holding the right spreadsheet, right? So now you have the right spreadsheet. You're going to say, now, spreadsheet get active sheet. Just like that. Actually, you don't even need to do sheet, but it's a nice process that I like to go down, because you want to be able to say, okay, start with the spreadsheet, go to the, or start with the whole spreadsheet, get the active sheet, because you have multiple sheets inside the spreadsheet. And then next, we're going to go var r equals s dot get active range. So now we have a range. So now we know exactly where on that sheet the edit took place. All right, this is exactly the information we want, because now we know where to look. So for instance, on the sheet, this range on a spreadsheet would be C5, right? Or it would be X3, Y5. You don't need to worry too much about the specifics, but it's good to understand when you say get me a range, because you could also have a range like this. That's still a range, right? But we're only going to deal with one cell at a time right now. And that's all we need to worry about. So we got get range. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to tell it, we want to say, hey, somebody's inputted some sort of information. We don't know what it is. The computer doesn't know what it is, but it knows that something changed because it was at null, which is nothing. And now there's something because that was the edit, right? So we're going to say variable equals r dot get value. All right, so there's our value. So now we're going to go, we went to the spreadsheet, to the sheet, to the range, and now we're looking at the range. We're going to say, whatever you got in there, I want that to be my variable. So now our C represents our variable, all right? Or sorry, our content. Now, what we want to do is we want to use that content to tell it, this is your background color. I mean, obviously it will only work if somebody inputs the correct number, but thankfully there's a billion numbers out there, right? So what we're going to do next is we're going to go, because we have active range, we're going to take R. So we want the range, right? So we're going to take the range, we're going to go R, we're going to go dot set background color, all right? So we're going to set background color, and where we put color is we use our variable of C. Now, because it's hexadecimal, and hexadecimal, you noticed that here there's a little hashtag there. Now, I chose when I did this to, because it's just easier to highlight sometimes, it doesn't always include that hashtag. So you're going to copy this. You have to make sure that hashtag's there or it won't recognize it as the right kind of number. So what we're going to do is we're going to say quotation, hashtag, quotation, plus. So what that will do is it'll put the two together. It'll concatenate them. Excuse me. And then that way it'll be one full number. All right, so we'll go like that. And then, well, what we're also going to do, though, is we want to do the same thing for the font color. So that way you don't see the number on the range, right? So we're going to go again, dot set font color. And it's just going to be the exact same thing. Quotation, hashtag, quotation, plus, C. There we go. Over semicolon. Now, if I've done this right, this should change any of those values, any of those 6-digit values into a number. So what we'll do is we'll just go over here and hit save. And, well, let's see if I did it. So we'll go AA 1, 2, 3, 4. That should give us red. Look at that. Perfect. And you notice, like I said, the number disappeared. The number's still there. See? Right up there. If I actually highlight it here, you can still see it. But for our purposes, we're just trying to, on this, we're just trying to make it look so we know what the color looks like, right? Control V, just like that. And, you know, when you copy and paste, it goes right over. But if I was to go again, let's say if I go BB 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go CC 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go DD 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go E 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what happens if I go 5? Aha, I see it's not a correct variable anymore. So it just ignores it and goes, hey, you're not what I want. I can't set a background color with that. Now, this is a very simple program. There is no error save. Like there's no background thought. If something goes wrong, it shouldn't cause any meltdowns. It's not going to do anything like that. But you know, it could stall the program. You might have to, you know, close it and reboot it. I don't think you're going to need to with this one. It's just going to ignore it completely. We'll just go say 303030. Boom, there's our black. All right. So there's your basic script. Now, that is, for me, a very useful thing. To be able to actually go in and do that yourself is really good. But what happens when you have a question or you're not sure what to do? I mean, it took me a long time to get to know these well enough to be able to do that. And I'm certainly not expecting anybody to remember that, or that, you're just going to start from there. But here's the really cool thing. Once you get started with a little script like this, so you can say, okay, I know how to find a cell. Now, what if we wanted to go, what I want to do is I want to take the number that's there, and I want to multiply it by 6, and I want to get the answer beside it. Just for the sake of argument, whatever it is, right? We could then say, okay, so we have a number here. We've controlled that. We could go through the whole thing and restart a whole new function just to keep it separate. I'm not familiar enough with code to know exactly what to do, but I also know we can also go like this and just keep going, right? So now we already know where the value is, so we know what C is. So the other thing we could do is we could actually just go, we know what spreadsheet we're on, we know what sheet we're on, right? We even know what range we're on. So now what we can do is we can go variable, R2, right, is equal to, here's what we'll do is we're going to go R dot get range get row. That's what we'll do. We'll R dot get row plus 1. So we got R2 now, right? There we go. And what we'll do is we'll go then in that row. So we got that location. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do another one. We're doing another content. So we'll do C2. Oh, sorry. Variable. I think var is variable. C2 is equal to C times, we'll say 25. I don't know if that'll work, but you know what? That's okay, because we can try it. We can see it, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's see here. How can I put that value into row 2? It's been a while since I did this. So we can go, I know what we can do. We can go R2 dot set value. Oops, R2 dot get, no, set, no. It's not liking somewhere. So whenever you get something like that where it doesn't want to give you the next thing, it's because it's not happy. So C, I think that's what it is. C, oh, C should still be working. You know what we'll do is we'll go like this. C dot get value. I don't think we need to do that, but that's okay. Value. No, see, we don't need to do that. Oh, I know what we can do. Watch this. Watch this. We don't even need to do that. What we can do is we can just go straight from R2. We can go R2 dot set. No, we can't do that yet either. R2 R. Oh, I know what it is, because R2's only got a value of whatever the row is plus 1. Variable A for answer is equal to spreadsheet or sheet dot get range, and you can put it in. You can put a range in by its axis, the X and the Y, right? So what we will do is we will use the values we just calculated. Here, where's my thing? Come here. S dot get range. So you can see it right here, and this is what really pays to look at, is the descriptions here, because I think they're really good. Integer row, integer column. So there's your, first you're going to put your row number in, and then your column number in, right? So we'll go with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to go row. So we're going to go R2, right? Because that's what we set for our row. And then this one we'll go call R3, sorry, R3. That'll be our column. Then we got get range. So we got range. And then we're going to go dot set value. Set value. See, now it's coming up. Set value of content times, we'll go 25. There we go. Well, let's see what happens when this goes. So we'll go save that. All right. And now we come over here and we go, let's just go 707070. Look at that. So what it did is it went, I'm over here. Okay, so I'm going to go over 1, and then I'm going to go down 1. That's +1 this way and +1 this way. And now I'll put a number so big in, it's too big to be a hexadecimal number. But I'll show you what we can do. We can probably do this. So watch this. I'll go 1, 2, 3. Sometimes 3 registers as a hexadecimal, but 4 doesn't. So there you go. And you know, I mean, you can take this even further. Instead of using 25, I could do the whole thing again. I could declare another variable for a cell here. So whatever value I put in that cell would be the multiplier of that value there. So you can see how this is how the programming starts to link together, right? Now, on day-to-day stuff, it's definitely not practical. But I'll show you one that is. And one of the things I use is, for instance, called auto hotkey. Now, what I can do is I go Control Shift, and I type N, and it gives me my name. Oh, look at that! I got an error. Because what it's doing is it's trying to multiply Luke times 1. And then you know the value of that. Obviously, it's not a number, so that's what it's telling you. It's saying, hey, not a number. So that's good. And then you know I go like if I want to put my email address down, I don't want to put it. Here's what I'll do is I'll put it in white. Well, I think you can't see it anyway. The idea being is it does actually spit it out really quick. I realize this is YouTube and I don't want to be putting all that stuff out there for everybody, but I guess it doesn't really matter. It's a public email address anyway. Look at that. So now when you're filling out these forms, you got it right there. Boom. I can do that for my address. I can do that for, you know, common things that I type out. So what I do is I type those things into Sublime Text. Now, see, there's my email address. I got my website. I think I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, I took out everything that's sensitive. But now, one of the other cool things that's really neat is for a guy like me who's terrible with typing, it's got a function in here though where you just put 2 colons, and what that does is says, hey, anything after 2 colons, if you type this, I'm going to replace it with this. It's like your own spell check, right? Because, you know, spell check doesn't get all the bad grammar that we use. So this does it. Now, it does not always work for every application. This is a standalone thing. It works on some, but not on others. But it's still really cool. More than anything, it's just because I like printing it out. Now, here's another perfect example. You can actually go online, and you can go find scripts that other people have written. And then you can take it and just copy and paste this in here. Now, this one, I had to modify it a bit, but I go like this, and look at this. Boom, da boom. Away we go. Already did the save thing. So really quick, I can grab a screenshot, save it. Boom, da boom. Tuts. Screenshot, saved, done. Right? If you want to go get a purchase receipt or anything like that, all these little things that you can do, it can save you time. It can save you a lot of time, especially if you're using any kind of spreadsheet to, you know, manage contacts or any kind of business that you're doing, and you're doing anything more. To me, if I did anything more than once, I wanted it automated because I want to just put it in and I want it to go right where I need it. I don't want to ever have to hit copy and paste to retrieve information or to put information somewhere else. I want it ready to go and I want it right there. Now, is it always feasible? Not always. But sometimes it works, and it's not that hard to even just get started. And it actually feels really cool. When you start learning some of the stuff, I didn't think I could do it for the life of me. I thought for sure I was too far behind, and you know, it grows so quick. But one of the great things, again, about this vape industry And for people who don't know me, you might look up this video. I'm a vapor, and it gives you the incentive to say, hey, I can learn something new. I can change my life, and that's what this is. And I've learned so much from it, and I'm really excited. And I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff because I was pretty happy about it. I was pretty proud of my little spreadsheet. I think that's really cool. Now I can look at my color design. I can see what I want. I can go back to my IDE, and I can start working on my website. So there you go, guys. There's my little tip for the day. The first programming tutorial. I'm gonna have a lot more stuff like this on the website when I do get it up and running. It's gonna be my goal to help everybody try and grow themselves as much as I can grow, and let's just make everybody successful together. All right, guys, I'm signing off. We'll see you there. Cheers.